Hi guys, my name is Abby Holt, and the title of my new media project is If Social Media is More Harmful or Beneficial. So, my project. In my new media project, I wanted to collect perspectives to help answer the question if people view social media as more beneficial or more harmful in their everyday lives. Why do they think this way? What brought them to their view and why? I collected findings by interviewing five individuals that sent in their videos to elaborate on this topic of new media while answering the questions I gave them. So, starting off with some definitions. New media is defined as the means of mass communication using digital technologies such as the internet. Social media is defined as websites and applications that enable users to create and share content or to participate in social networking. So, why this topic? Nowadays, I feel that most everyone is on social media and constantly looking at their phones. I became very interested in the always on readings and discussions we had in class, and I quickly wondered what effects this had on our society as a whole with the concept of new media. I wanted to ask people and gain information and perspective on if they feel it causes more harm or has more benefits in their everyday life. So, just some background, here are some interview questions that I sent to my participants. Do you think social media is more harmful or beneficial? Why? Feel free to use any type of personal story. How often do you use social media? How do you feel after using it? In what ways does it impact or improve your life? In what ways does it pose damage in your life? Do you compare yourself on social media apps like Facebook or Instagram? How often? Why? Do you think you spend too much time on your phone? So, after I set out these interview topics, let's hear from my first participant, Molly.
I think social media is pretty much ingrained in all of our lives and has become kind of like a daily thing that I think everyone does. I personally think that social media can be good in the fact that it can bring light to certain issues that people might be going through, make it a little bit more normalized, and make it easier for people to get support. But I also think that social media is majority more of a negative thing just because people tend to compare their lives. You only kind of see the best when people post on social media. It can oftentimes make people feel bad about themselves if they're not doing as much as everyone else seems like they're doing on social media. So I think it kind of generates a culture of people comparing, kind of creating like a negative atmosphere. So I think it can be kind of a double-edged sword.
Next, we're going to hear from Annie.
All right, I want to share my views of social media. I am, I would say, a light social media user. I used to be a little bit more heavy into social media, and when I say social media, it's Facebook for me because of my generation. I don't go on Snapchat, Instagram very much. I do LinkedIn just because I guess professionally, I do LinkedIn and do that a little bit more lately. But I'm more of a Facebook user. I would say I'm very limited, and I actually made a deliberate decision about 2 years ago to not post and not be very active. And the reason for that is because there are a lot of disadvantages. But before I get to those, I want to get to the advantages because there are some clear advantages of social media. And that's pretty easy to see that it's good at connecting friends and family. It's good, a lot of people choose to share their political and social activism and their beliefs on social media. I believe recently fundraising has been pretty strong with social media. And I also think there's a great advantage as far as networking professionally with platforms like LinkedIn. But I do, well, and let me give you an example of a positive and a benefit that happened with me with social media just last year. And that is that I was able to connect and find some really, really lost friends that I had not seen since junior high. And it was because of our outreach on social media that a bunch of us came together to my old hometown, and we had a junior high reunion. That would not have happened, and there was like about 19 to 20 of us, and that would not have happened without social media. So there are some clear advantages, but I would say that disadvantages far outweigh those advantages, and here's why. It seems like every time I was posted or got on social media, I would come off of social media feeling less than, feeling not worthy, feeling not very happy. And the reason for that is I think it activates that social comparison that we all have. Some of us have it a little bit more than others, and that's where it can be really detrimental. And that's why I think that we know now, with a lot of studies being done on the effects of social media, we know now that there's a causal relationship between the use of social media, depression, anxiety, sleep disturbances, hyperactivity, loss of production, and certainly suicide. So there are a lot of risks in using social media on a daily and hourly level. And for me personally, I felt that I would go on and come off, and I would always ask myself if I'm doing enough. Am I active enough? Do I go on enough vacations? Do I have enough family, friends, all that? So I don't think it does really great things for me personally, and so I choose not to post and not to go on it as much as I used to. I haven't completely blocked out, but I also know that there's some real uses. I haven't blocked it out because of the benefits. I still want to know, there may be a few other people I want to be able to get in touch with, but for the most part, I choose to stay away from it as much as possible. That's how I feel. All right, hope that helps. Take care.
Next, we're going to hear from Randy.
Anyways, I'm going to go real quick here. First one is, how often do I use social media? Almost never. The only thing that I ever do once in a while is go on Facebook. I don't do Instagram, Snapchat, or anything like that. So my age is obviously going to come into play here when I answer these questions. So how often do I use? Very rarely. I'm not on Facebook very much anymore just because it's kind of a waste of time for me. Good or harmful? I think it can be both. Obviously, it's good if it helps keep friends and family connected, but it also can be harmful if people don't like hearing about their friends and family doing so much better financially, or vacationing more, or just having an all-around better life than somebody, which probably happens, but I don't know. How do I feel afterward? Honestly, when I get on Facebook and I spend some time on it, I kind of feel sad because it seems like it's always the same people posting stuff. And I wish they would go get a life or go outside and play rather than spend time on their computer posting pictures about what they had for dinner or the exotic places they vacationed, which again, low battery, sorry, is going to make other people feel bad. What impact does it have on my everyday life? Almost none whatsoever. I do feel like it would be fun to be on Snapchat for you guys, but I also think that a lot of the things you guys post might be a little bit more private. You don't want your mom or dad to see. I know that's with Molly. Molly takes mom off of her distribution when she goes to Vegas. Anyways, does it bring happiness? Yeah, sometimes. I mean, some of the people that I have on my Facebook post funny stuff, unrelated to family or anything like that, just comedy that they find on the internet that they share, and that's fun. And there have been a few friends that I've enjoyed finding out what they've been up to that I've lost track of over the years. Positive or negative? Again, it's going to be both. I mean, it's positive if you're able to reach out to somebody that you haven't seen in a long time and you want to rekindle a friendship. But negative if people post nasty things, which I'm sure happens a lot. Helpful or damaging? There again, it can be both for the same reasons. What role does it play in my life? Really, absolutely none. As a matter of fact, I'm purposely staying off Facebook just because it can be a colossal waste of time. So no role play in my life. Compare with others. Yeah, you do end up comparing your life with others. I know Mom has been upset with reading people's posts about all the travel they've done and all that. And the times I've posted things, I've actually gone out of my way to trying to be humble. I don't brag that I have a cool house on a lake or own 9 cars or muscle cars or anything like that. I sometimes post cars, but not to make people feel bad. Do I spend too much time on my phone? I'm going to say yes, and what I'm doing on my phone is reading news feeds because I want to be the first person to hear that Trump has had a heart attack and died. So I could say, oh, look who's here. Buddy, look, it's Abby right there. That's Abby. We're doing a thing. There's Buddy. He just had his food, and now he wants to go someplace, and I'm not going to take him anyplace. So, Abby, I think that's it. I spend too much time on my phone watching news. I don't spend any time on my phone with social media. I don't have Facebook on my phone. I don't have email on my phone. So that's it. Love you so much, honey. I hope your project goes well.
All right, thank you, Dad, for that interesting perspective. Next, we're going to hear from Lizzie.
Hello. I go on social media a lot. My preference is probably Instagram when compared to Facebook and other things. I feel it's more harmful than it is beneficial, mainly because people only post their highlight reel and it kind of makes it seem like their life's better than it really is in reality. And then when you compare it to your own, it makes you feel kind of down about yourself sometimes. So I think that affects you negatively. And I think it's harmful to your mental health and your outlook on life, I would say. So yeah, I think it's more harmful. I do use it a lot. I probably go on it every day, multiple times a day. I spend a lot of time on it when I really should not. I've gone on cleanses before where I delete it all, but then I just end up downloading it like the next day. So really not the best at that.
All right, lastly, we're going to hear from Michael, and the questions were given by his little brother.
How often do you use social media?
I use social media probably a few hours a day. It's a big part of me just going through my phone.
Do you think it is more beneficial or more harmful, and why?
It's a tough one. I don't know. Nowadays, I feel like it can even be used for like a resume in a way, especially if you're like arts centered, you know what I mean? But I would honestly probably say detrimental. It gets in your head, you know, and you want the most likes and the most attention. I don't know. Of course, it's also easy to follow people without actually seeing them in person. But I'd probably go with harmful, just because it's a mind game.
How do you feel after using social media?
I don't know. Good, I guess. Even though I just said it's harmful, and it makes me laugh. I can share what I'm doing with other people. So yeah, good.
How does it impact your everyday life?
Well, I don't know, just, I guess, magnetizing me towards it, spending time on my phone, you know, scrolling through. I spend time on it. That's how it affects my day.
Does social media bring you happiness?
Sometimes. I mean, Twitter, you got all these jokes all the time happening. It's hilarious, but, you know, Instagram doesn't make me happy necessarily, or Facebook. Twitter is the only one that I would say makes me happy. Snapchat's just a keep in touch thing. Instagram's just to look what I'm doing, keep in touch thing. So,
do you view social media positively or negatively? Why?
See, I kind of already answered this. It's both. It really is both. But negative for the reason that it gets in people's heads, like I said, and it kind of, you know, drives certain decisions, etc. But good because you can stay in touch with people that you might not otherwise.
What role does it play in your life?
In my life, it's like I've already said, look what I'm doing, you know, following people that, you know, you don't see often, you can still keep in touch, like I was saying before. It's, yeah, the things I've already said.
Do you compare yourself on social apps like Instagram or Facebook?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, the follower count, that's what I'm talking, that's the detrimental part about it. You see the follower count, you see other people, you know, you want as many followers as you can get. It's a status kind of thing. So, yeah, I do compare myself to others.
Do you think you spend too much time on your phone?
I think as a generation, we do. Me necessarily, no, but I do spend a decent amount of time on it.
All right. So, my discussion. Overall, I found that after reviewing each video and answering the questions given, I found that almost everyone had more to say in terms that social media has been more harmful for them. Even though they brought up positive points of why it can be beneficial, they almost each had more to say and included personal findings for why it had more of a negative impact in their lives. In conclusion, I came to the findings that social media is more harmful than beneficial in most lives. So some similarities within the answers of social media being more beneficial included being able to contact many types of people, reconnecting with lost friends, bringing social issues to light and open discussion, and even fundraising for nonprofits and organizations. Similarities for social media being more harmful included the idea of comparison, lower self-image, addiction, and trying to prove that you're having a better life than you actually are. So a quick generational comment. One thing I found interesting was the difference between the two generations. Because obviously I interviewed younger individuals and my parents who are from the older generation. I found that the younger people I interviewed stated that they are more likely to use Instagram or Twitter more than any other social media site. In the older generation, they are more likely to mention their use of social media on Facebook. In addition, the younger people stated that they use social media constantly, while the older adults stated it was way less common for them to actively use social media. Alright, and there's my references. And thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a great rest of the semester.